on their way out. But if Swansea can keep up their home record over recent times, they will be able to push on from a 12th place in the league table. Albion very much in the mix. Impressive against Preston North End, and one of those sides that you would suspect will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Well, let's take a look at the side that Luke Williams has gone with, and there are changes to the starting 11. Gonzalo Franco is in from the start. Cyrus Christie bolsters their back line. Couple of changes then from the side, beaten heavily at Fratton Park in their last league game. As for Chris Brunt as interim head coach, this is the 11 that he goes with, and there is a change at the back as well for them. Mason Holgate is in. There is a start for Jed Wallace, the captain. Kyle Barkley drops out. He's among the substitutes, as does Tom Fellows. There's Luke Williams. And of course, a player that you talked about just a moment ago, Matt Grimes, and his influence.
Yeah, talked about being evergreen, being so consistent. Forget he's only 29 years old. It feels like he's been around for a very, very long time, and just epitomises over the last decade how Swansea play. Likes to get the ball, likes to get it ticking, moves it on swiftly to other attacking players on the pitch. Just incredibly consistent is his key moment.
Mikey Johnston is another one that's scored a couple against Bristol City, stood out recently for West Bromwich Albion.
Yeah, after making his move permanent from Celtic in the summer, took him a little while to find his feet again after such a successful loan spell last season. But I feel like now the consistency's coming back. He played well against Preston the other day in the 3-1 victory, and I feel like the consistency now with playing regular matches will help him step up.
Sam Allison in charge. And it is Albion from left to right in this first half. So Holgate stepping into that Baggy's back line alongside Hegem in those central defender positions.
Yeah, Diakate then, the referees this season have been really hot, haven't they, on anyone kind of picking up the ball and stopping a restart, and a quick one there. Looks like Michael Johnson did get booked there for pulling back on the Swansea City midfielder.
Yeah, quick decision for the match official. Confirmation of that yellow card. Sam Allison with what a minute played with the first caution of the game. Zapotnik with an opportunity as well today. Scored 4 league goals, the Slovenian striker. They'll look to him. Time of the year when, just with the sheer demanding schedule, that managers like to mix things up. Sure, as a player you want to play in every single game, but you get the situations where that feeling is that you just need to maybe freshen things up. 4 games in 10 days, Joe?
As a player, I loved it. I love this time period. You want to play as much football as you can. Nowadays, the sports scientists and the physios get involved a little bit too much, in my opinion, and have their say on who should be playing and what players are in the red zone and susceptible to injuries and things like that. But, you know, as a player, you want to hit form, you want to keep the momentum going from a good performance. And here, actually, there's not been as many changes as there has been in other games where you see 7 or 8 per match.
Well, to get forward and then just lay that ball into the path of Cullen Grant. Kitty with an opportunity to pick out the recalled Jed Wallace with a ball whipped into that penalty area. Just caused a few problems for Christie in the Swansea defence.
It's a great ball in from Jed Wallace. When the ball's is low, skipping across the 6-yard box, and Cyrus Christie there prods out a leg, and it could have gone anywhere off him, but thankfully for him it went to safety.
Wallace in from the start, the Albion captain, and involved with a set piece that does not come off as they would have required. Second opportunity for Wallace. Johnston involved with a little give and go, and then wide by Josh Matcher, coming off a couple of goals, of course, against Preston to end his longest barren spell in front of goal.
Yeah, snapshot there. He was in good form against Preston on New Year's Day and wanted to carry that on with a snapshot there across. Again, another opportunity that could have gone in off via deflection, but for Swansea's point of view, happily to see that go wide.
Well, before the win over Preston North End, they drew at Sheffield United, they lost at Derby County. It has been a mixed period, a mixed festive period for West Bromwich Albion. Popnik trying to just put Holgate under a degree of pressure. Listen, Holgate will welcome his return to that defensive line. Hegham's been excellent at the back for the visitors. You look at Furlong and Styles, it does look a particularly strong defensive line with Malumbi and Diakite in front of them. Here's an opportunity. Well, the Popnik was in the middle, but ball never reached him. Big chance for the Slovenian striker on his return to the first team. Dealt with defensively, and the result is a Swansea City corner. Harry Darling is among those who has ventured forward. Angled into that penalty area, free header for Josh Key, not away, and it's unconvincing defending from Albion, who are in the end just mightily relieved to get that away. Key forward and big chance Swansea.
Yeah, it was a corner came in, and there's a free header in the box for Swansea, and then a scrappy kind of moment followed that. There was goal line clearances, there was opportunities for a tap in front of the goalkeeper. Eventually they managed to get the ball clear, but promising little moment for Swansea there.
Yeah, less than convincing from West Bromwich Albion. In the end, Matchday back to hook that ball away. Again, it's Key that has got forward. Cullen and Vipotnik inside the area, as is the supporting Ji Song.
You can see the pitch already starting to cut up. A lot of rain down in South Wales, and the pitch down there has been susceptible to that over the years, and you could tell it probably doesn't suit Swansea having that surface that isn't necessarily so clean for them to play their football on, but could be a bit more of a livener today for that.
Grimes. And the captain could look to drive that towards the penalty area. Feels nicely for Matchday to try and set Albion on the move. Darling, who is out of contract this summer, and a player that they are determined to keep at this football club. Some work to do there.
It's important to keep him. He's been very good for them since he arrived from MK Dons, and with Ben Cabango as well out injured today, is even more emphasis on him being the leader in the back four. Got Cyrus Christie playing alongside him, who's not naturally a centre-back, so Darling's going to be having to not just kind of look after his own game today, but talking through Cyrus Christie as well to help him make sure he's in the right position all the time.
Cabango out because of the injury picked up at Fratton Park a few days ago. Franco back after having a few teeth dislodged. He is fit to go, and he has scored in the last 2 home games for the Swans. Deflected away and behind. Another corner opportunity for the hosts.
There's a couple of times now where Josh Key and Pereira have worked it well down the right-hand side and managed to get behind the West Brom back line, but in the end, good defending from Callum Stiles. But for Swansea, another promising corner here situation for a couple of the centre-backs to come up and see if they can cause havoc like they did a minute ago from the last corner.
Short from Ji Sung. Space for Timer to clip it goalwards, and then helped on and just unable to trouble Alex Palmer in that Albion goal. Interesting, in the game against Queen's Park Rangers, they were terrific for long periods, and then they go to the South Coast against Portsmouth, they concede 4, and it's just difficult to work out on the back of what had been an excellent performance to set them up and then lose heavily against Pompey. Another Swansea opportunity, again from a set piece, well, by Furlong, and then they can get it clear. Grant losing out.
Yeah, with what you're saying just then, I think that's been their issue this season, is that consistency of stringing 3 or 4 good performances together. Luke Williams mentioned this week in his interview that he can't do that as a team. Their team haven't got the ability at the minute to consistently put those good performances together, so it's something they're going to need to work on if they want to push for the playoffs.
Here's Matchday. by Flipotnik. A bit of space for Cullen, who helped himself to 2 goals against Queen's Park Rangers. Ji-sung with an opportunity to whip that in. It's a free header, it's too high in the end, but well worked set-up play from the Swans.
Yeah, Mason Holgate can see Yom running at him with the ball. I think he needs to get a little bit closer for me and stop the cross. You know he wants to come in on his right foot, and he's very dangerous at that. And Cullum just finds a couple of yards space in the middle of the penalty area, but it's a difficult header there just behind him, a little bit too high for him around the penalty spot, and sails comfortably over the bar in the end.
Just losing out in that aerial confrontation. Key forward again through that right channel, as we have seen in the opening 13 minutes or so. Almost there, 13. Certainly it's been here, familiar territory in front of the home supporters, where they've delivered their better performances, and they've had chances in the early stages so far.
Yeah, Swansea naturally are going to keep the ball a lot. They're quite patient in their possession, their build-up play in the middle thirds. But there has been a couple of opportunities for West Brom on the counter-attack just to get that final ball right. They could have been in behind the back line of Swansea.
Ji-sung set them forward again. Franco's effort, looking for 3 home goals in a row. There he is, the Portuguese. And there's Luke Williams watching on as his side threatened a goal inside the opening quarter of an hour, but well wide of the mark in the end.
They'd be pleased though with the reaction from the Portsmouth game. You mentioned about that, how they've dealt with setbacks well this season, and they started a better team here. They've had efforts on goal, they've had set pieces. Just getting strikes and a goal doesn't necessarily have to be on target, but it gets the crowd going.
No chance for Wallace to cross, and Darling to provide the defensive cover for the Baggies.
Again, then, just little mistakes on the ball from Swansea are allowing West Brom. They're being patient in the way they're defending, but there's opportunities to win the ball back up quite high up and break on Swansea. Done it a few times, and just missing out on that final ball. There was a situation there where they were 3-on-3 or 3-on-2 even in the final third, and a better bit of quality there could have really opened up the Swansea back line.
Dana Furlong with the option of going long. Made the 3rd goal against Preston in their previous fixture. It is long, it is hooked clear and helped on its way by Ji-sung. Styles away on that far side for Albion. Palmer, who's been ever-present in the Championship. And here's a long ball in behind the home defence. Figueroa was alert to the danger. Franco picks up the loose ball.
For some reason, there's nothing quite like seeing a goalkeeper doing a diving header outside of his area and coming and clearing everything. And thankfully for him, it landed to one of the Swansea players, to Franco, and they were able to settle it down.
Certainly since Carlos Corberán departed for a new challenge in Spain with Valencia, West Brom have looked a little more expansive. They were very efficient in front of goal, impressive on New Year's Day, good in transition, and made the most of the scoring opportunities that came their way. always had a style of playing under the stewardship of Luke Williams. Whether it's a win or a loss, they've played what people would say the right style of football, the right way of football, a way that the supporters like. It comes off sometimes, and then on other occasions, as we saw on the South Coast, they are heavily beaten. But it certainly is the way that they want to go under a manager committing his future to this football club, as Franco with a layoff and a chance to whip that cross in. Again, defending to do for Albion to snuff out the threat, and then we're going to bring it away and try and build something. Mulumbi's ball, and Furlong helped on by Major. Now there is a chance, but a space for Jed Wallace to step forward.
Yeah, just going back to Luke Williams and follows on from Russell Martin, and it's, you know, Swansea are one of the few clubs that really have an identity about them that goes back the last, 12, 14 years when they got to the Premier League, all those times, and they want to keep that. They want to keep their identity, their DNA as being a Swansea City player and a manager, and Luke Williams has followed on for that. They play total possession football. Sometimes the fans will get a little bit impatient with the build-up play, and they will have results like they did against Portsmouth, but they've got a specific style, and they're true to their word and they stick with it.
This is Grimes. Captain again. And then Franco's first touch, and it will be a free kick for Albion. Alex Mertz among those substitutes for Albion this afternoon. Plenty of experience on the bench as we look at those. Chris Brunt in the centre of the picture, who was such a loyal servant down the years for West Bromwich Albion, part of this interim management team as they continue for a long-term successor for Carlos Corberán, and there are a number that, if the bookmakers are to be believed, are in the frame at the moment, and I'm sure they'll take the time to get the right man in after the work that Corberán did at the Hawthorns.
Yeah, and it's very rarely that you get a managerial post that opens up in a team that's doing well in the playoffs. Normally you're going into a club that's fighting a scrap or a relegation battle, and it's a great opportunity for West Brom, for someone to go into West Brom and really kick on with this team. They've got everything there, a great squad, some really good match winners in their squad as well, and I think it's a good opportunity, and but a really important time as well in the middle of the transfer window to make sure that manager comes in, is able, if he wants to get one or two of his own players in.
Minute mark, that is how we look in terms of the match statistics, and you can see the shots favouring Swansea overwhelmingly, 5-1. Manager involved. Albion on the move and just rolls away from Carlin Grant.
Another opportunity there, just winning the ball back in the final third and breaking, and the more they can break with numbers, the more they can commit to that West Brom. I think that's their way into this game and a way to score a goal, and just a couple of times a poor touch or the wrong pass, the wrong decision has just let them down at the minute.
Talked about the managerial situation, Joe, at Swansea. It was going on for a bit longer than the fans wanted, and suddenly you get Luke Williams coming out in a press conference and saying no, absolutely no contact with West Bromwich Albion, this is where I'm staying.
Yeah, and you wonder why he didn't kind of say that at the start. It makes you think whether there was a little bit of contact, or there was him thinking he may be interested in it. And when he came out and said that actually there's not been an approach, that kind of put the end to everything. And you think that why do managers kind of put themselves under that pressure? The fans aren't going to like it if a manager's uncommittal towards your team. Let's get another corner here for Swansea. So yeah, it was an interesting period as well. Like I said again, right at the start of the transfer window, you want a manager to be in place. You want, if they've got targets they're looking at, and he's mentioning about players that they're after in the transfer window. So it'd be silly for him to talk about that, but also talk about potentially moving on at the same time.
Yeah, I think he readily conceded that he should have dealt with it a little earlier to stop that speculation. Well, they've seen a few of these corners come to nothing at the midway point of the first half. Here's another one. Song prepares to float that in, looking for the near post connection. Cyrus Christie forward, and an assistant flag far side brings an end to the latest Swans attack. Well, Joe Jacobson, midway point of the first half, observations on what we've seen so far?
Yeah, probably how we thought the game was going to go. Swansea have a lot of the possession, especially in the middle third of the pitch in their build-up phase, and West Brom opportunities to counter-attack. There's been a lack of quality, I think, in this game so far. Whether or not the pitch has anything to do with that, you can see it's cutting up. There's bare patches on the pitch as well, and you can just see a couple of players' touches go astray. But for both teams, I think they'll be quite pleased with how it's going. Swansea have created a couple of opportunities. They're on the front foot, but West Brom on that counter-attack know that they're always in the game. So it's quite an even start to the game, with both teams probably quite satisfied with that.
Grimes blocked off by Diakite, and suddenly Albion are on the move in towards Majakud defending. Darling getting back, and again had to, and then deflected the efforts. Malumbi's opportunity, and it caused a few problems for that Swansea defence, who will be happy to have survived that scare.
It's a great tackle by Darling then. But again, Swansea, being the victim of their own way of playing here. First of all, it's a great interception from Darling. Another great tackle. They had to time that perfectly well. But there is opportunities here for West Brom, and they'll be, happy sometimes out of possession, knowing that at any point that they can spring an attack.
Corner opportunity, still something to do, as that's headed back in towards its 6-yard area. And again, the home side are able to see off the challenge, but that effort from Malumbi just a moment ago rather illustrated what West Brom are capable of in the final third, and it also showed us what Darling can do defensively, with two really important contributions for his football club, alongside the experienced Cyrus Christie on his first team return.
That's why it's so important to tie him down to this contract. I know he's up in the summer, and there's a lot of speculation about them just putting the talks off a little bit, just to settle it down maybe, and allow him just to concentrate on playing. So I think there he's proved his worth, that he's a really important player for the Swansea team.
Into the chase. Figuru will collect. Yeah, with Darling as well, not just his defensive contribution, but you see him getting forward, scoring goals, and certainly providing a genuine threat from set-piece opportunities.
Yeah, the way he carries the ball out of defence as well, he can stride past the midfield players and into the forward line sometimes. He does it so well, so effortlessly. But also when it needs to just be played simple, he can do that. He can hit those big diagonal balls that he's shown already in this first half. So he's a really, really talented player.
Tucked by Malumbi, who runs into white shirts in close attendance. Pace with which they are able to counter. And again, it's Darling who puts a boot in, a foot in, and brings that Albion attack to a swift conclusion. Getting to open up as a spectacle.
Again, there, West Brom, when they won the ball back, I think the pitch doesn't help there. Just bobbled just under his foot as he was controlling the ball and taking the ball forward, and Darling then was able to step in and time the tackle very well. But again, then on the other interception there, that Swansea then had an opportunity as well to go forward, but didn't take quite enough care in their pass forward, and the attack breaks down again. So starting to open up, which is good.
Josh Madger leading the line again for Albion, and he will be fresh from that confidence-boosting brace against Preston North End. Furlong. It's only as far as Madger takes charge of affairs, but cannot find a colleague. Instead, it's with Ronald on that far side for the Swans, looking for a little 1-2. It's an exchange that works perfectly. Vipotnik through the middle. Ji Song was unmarked on the edge of the 18-yard area. Little layoff, and that effort Cullen deflected. As we've seen at both ends, Cullen is a real goal-scoring threat, but chances in the final third of the pitch from one end to the other. You've seen Albion counter with real pace and threat, and then the threat of Cullen and the deflected clearance away and behind for a corner.
He gets into some really good positions, Cullen. You can drift into the box or just hold just off from the back four, and also gets goals, which is so important.
Well, dealt with defensively. And Wallace able to bring the ball under control and burst away. It is still Wallace.
Couldn't quite get it under control, could he? Or use his pace to get away from the defender there. Another really good opportunity for West Brom on the counter-attack here. And Josh Key does enough just at the end to get back. And whether that's the pitch or whether that's a few things there, Jed Wallace just laughing, whether that's the pitch that's just caught him out a little bit or just the wrong decision. But I think he could have taken it on and maybe had a shot on target there.
Yeah, they dropped Tom Fellows to the bench. Opportunity for Wallace this afternoon, their skipper.
Surprised that Fellows isn't starting today. He's been in great form this season, the most assists in the EFL. One of their brightest sparks going forward. Whether or not they think that Jed Wallace will do a more disciplined job on the other side, especially the way that Swansea play. So I'm sure we'll see him at some point if West Brom need a goal or an opportunity to create something. He'll be the first that they look at.
Grant's ball through to Malumbi. Here's Dekidi. It's Grant to set up the chance, and again Darling is involved, and Swansea see that threat off. There are chances at both ends as we go beyond the 30-minute mark, and certainly building, I think, as a spectacle beginning to really open up. Here come the home sides, Franco and Vipotnik, and Cullen well positioned inside that opposition penalty area.
Just that last bit of play, the final pass or the touch, nothing's quite been clean. Again, I keep mentioning the pitch, but I do think it's having an effect on these players. The quality just in that final third, whether it's a pass or a shot or just a movement to get a yard for yourself, it's just lacking at the minute.
Ronald and Grimes combining. Waiting for their opportunity. Haven't seen too much so far from Vipotnik. The chances have not been there. Will that change? It's beyond him, but it's a difficult ball. The handball appeals against Darnell Furlong, who just concentrates on the task in hand. And here comes Albion on the counter. Pace from Mulumby to keep on going and drag it wide. Disappointing finish from a very good position.
Yeah, it's all starting to liven up a little bit now. It's a great opportunity here for Mulumby, a little bit similar to what Jed Wallace did a moment or two ago, but he took it on himself, and it was the right option. There wasn't anyone to kind of cut it straight back to, but here there was a moment before that, a great opportunity, a great ball into the box by Swansea, and at the back post here, Darnell Furlong, the ball skips up and it does hit his arm, but for me, that's not a penalty. That's one that VAR would definitely have a look at. What do you think? Do you think that was a penalty?
I think we're in complete agreement. It bounces up, nothing he can do about it. No penalty.
They're so open though, Swansea, when they attack with the ball and they have their movements and their systems that they play. As soon as there's a transition, West Brom are right on it. There's plenty of areas and space at either side of the centre-backs, because the full-backs of Swansea, they tuck into them false centre midfield positions, or they're really high on the wings. There's a lot of space in the channels for Josh Maja and Karlan Grant, or there Mulumby who can break from midfield. So I think for West Brom, they'll be happy sometimes not having the ball.
Swansea lost 1-0 at the Hawthorns earlier this season. Just a single goal decided that contest. Second fixture of 2025. Albion looking for a way through. Grant with the effort that's blocked, and towards Mulumby. Swansea away, chased by Vipotnik, controlled by Hegem. Let's take a look at the shots. 7-4. It's narrowed considerably as Wallace is able to bring that ball away for Albion. Support from Grant to look up onto that right foot. And it's a super save as Figaro was able to push it behind under the threat from Karlan Grant.
Yes, a great save there. Sometimes with the ball, it might have gone between Cyrus Christie's leg. As soon as he cuts inside, yeah, it goes back between the defender's legs. Sometimes they're really difficult for the goalkeeper to be able to see them early, and you know, low down to his right hand side. It's a great hand from Lawrence Figaro there. It's a top save. The first real bit of quality there from Karlan Grant to get that attempt on goal there.
Scored the equaliser in one of their recent fixtures at Sheffield United, did Grant, as that is lifted in beyond Hegem. Wallace can turn it back in. It'll be headed goalwards, and in the end, the keeper is well placed as Figaro is called into action, and Grant continues to cause a problem or two in the opposition 18-yard area.
Yeah, be a little disappointed then that he heads it straight at Vigouroux. It's difficult to purchase so much power on it. He's getting held there by Grimes, who actually does very well to stop him getting a clean header on it. But either side of Vigouroux there, and it's 1-0 to West Brom.
Furlong's ball. Timon there first beyond Wallace.
West Brom just starting to assert themselves a bit more in the game, aren't they? Get a bit more success when they do play them forward passes. The front two are looking quite lively. Madjo, I just want him to be a little bit tidier on his link-up play. I think he's been a little bit sloppy with the opportunities he's had to lay things off one touch. Maybe just needs to secure it a little bit on this pitch and make sure he doesn't lose the ball, because if he can be that pivot for them up top, then he can really bring people into play.
Grimes, it's Ji-sung who will chase, and Palmer will get there first. Well, the Albion management team late in the first half will have seen how their side have improved as the game has gone on. The chances that we've seen fall their way, particularly to Grant in recent times, certainly getting better, Albion.
For all the good play Swansea have up until the final third, West Brom will be the more disappointed not to be taking the lead here. The opportunities they've had on the break, the final pass that's just let them down, and opportunities now they've started to create. Hopefully, for their point of view, they'll want to take one of them next time they come available.
To get his ball. Furlong into space and into Cullen. Grant with a chance from the angle, trying to square it from Madjo all the way through. Still maybe an opportunity for West Bromwich Albion. Flash wide of the mark, but that is the threat that they have going forward. And it's another opportunity that flies wide, and that Swansea goal coming under significant pressure in the latter stages of this first half.
Yeah, he's not offside then. It's just a lack of communication from the back four, whether or not that's because of the change that's happened without Cabango. But Josh Madjo, I think he just needs to get in front of the centre-back here and just dart into the 6-yard box. He tries to peel off for a cutback, but if he just runs at the goal, he's got a tap in then. And Michael Johnson, the ball came out to him, and you know the form he's been on the last few weeks, he's got a bit more confidence. You can tell that opportunity then flashes wide, but a nice bright spark from him.
A couple of goals for Johnston against Bristol City, and a threat away on that far side. Well, we're into the last 5 minutes of first half. It certainly opened up as a game, and you're right, Swansea pretty play. Final third though, Albion have looked comfortable defending, and you just sense that this West Bromwich Albion team have really begun to show us what they're capable of. Yes, I know it's stalemate at the Swansea.com stadium, but they are improving as an outfit, looking to make it back-to-back successes. What would Joe Jacobson be your overall first half thoughts as we head towards the half-time interval?
Yeah, echoing what you just said there, I think Swansea, like they do, they have a lot of possession in the build-up phase around the halfway line. Matt Grimes sits in and becomes almost a centre-back at times and just dictates things. But West Brom is so well drilled. They were under Carlos Corberán. You know, the reason why they've only lost twice in 17 games. They're very difficult to beat. Yes, they draw a lot of games, but today I think they'll be quite pleased, and they can see the opportunities from sitting in and breaking on this Swansea team. They're so open when they attack.
Can they make something happen in the final minutes with a ball in? Hegem deals with it. Grant.
as the half's gone on, West Brom will definitely be happier of the two teams. You know, the opportunities they've created, they'll be disappointed they're not a goal up with the chances that they do have, but I think for the overall play, they'll be very, very pleased with their performance so far.
The win, the draw and the loss since Carlos Corberán moved on to Valencia. Oh, it may well open up for Wallace, who has an opportunity. It is Jed Wallace, unable to set up Magic again. The block there. Swansea back to get a body in the line and make sure that Magic's effort did not find its way through, but there was real space for Wallace to head goalwards and set up an opportunity for Albion. Here again, John Sterling. Super save. He's made a couple of those, Figueroa, to keep out Albion when he's been called into action. He has dealt with the threat well. And that's a couple of times during the last few minutes we've seen what Mikey Johnston can do.
Yeah, he picks up the ball in great space, but Swansea is so open on transitions. He's got a free rein to run at the back four then and get an opportunity at the edge of the box. It's a great shot from 20 odd yards out and a good save from Lawrence Figueroa. And again, West Brom, they've just been very, very good on the counter, on the transition, and again they want to convert these chances now into a goal.
And they have a chance of doing just that with a corner. Hagen can't get to it. Away by Ji-sung. And then Malumbi loses out. And here is a break for Ronald and Swansea. Ji-sung to his left, Key to his right. And then lead off to Cullen. And that is as good as we've seen. Vipotnik with a chance late in the first half. Not seen too much from the Slovenian forward, but there was his opportunity.
Yeah, and he finds himself a little bit of space. It's a great strike and just a foot wide of the post in the end, but better from Swansea. They moved it quicker when they won the ball back and really attacked with pace and moved the ball in one or two touch and didn't quite hold on to the ball. So a good opportunity at the end of the half there.
4 league goals for Vipotnik. What will Williams be reflecting on in a first half where in the majority of the game they just have not been clinical in front of goal. Same for Albion though, who certainly looked impressive as the game went on. They had a couple of chances just recently, Mikey Johnston, and that chance for the home side from Vipotnik, one of their better ones. It is stalemate at half-time between a Swansea side in mid-table and a West Brom team starting the day inside the top 6. Swansea 0, West Brom 0 at half-time. Referee Sam Allison just in conversation there with Cullen.
Here we go then for the second half at the Swansea.com Stadium. Come on, the Swans!
Mason Holgate in alongside Hegem at the back for Albion today. Jed Wallace also involved. As for Swansea, Cyrus Christie alongside Harry Darling. Luke Williams, future decided, no interest in the Albion job. Even if they did contact him, we'll never know really. Took until a press conference yesterday for him to rule out any suggestion that he would be leaving South Wales. Too many names, I think, in the frame for us, Joe, to discuss for this Albion job and a replacement for Carlos Corberán. Bit of defending to do for the visitors.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, it's a really good opportunity for someone to come in. Being really interesting to see what type of manager they go for. They've had someone in Carlos Corberán who likes to get his teams playing really solid football. They don't mind soaking up the pressure and getting teams on the counter-attack and being very hard to beat. Or do they want to go for someone a bit more free-flowing football who can, like Luke Williams, who can, you know, maybe score a few more goals and progress them up the league that way?
Ronald. Darling made some really important defensive contributions for his side in the opening half. Christie with some first-team football. Finds Ji-sung. Certainly options as that is listed into the penalty area. It will come through to Ronald. Players in support, and in the end it just bounces up comfortably for Alex Palmer in that West Bromwich Albion goal.
Better though from Swansea, and see them when the ball's coming in from Josh Tymon, that there's 3 or 4 Swansea players in the 18-yard box, and it's no wonder that in the end the ball falls to Ronald there, who one of those cross-come shots tries to hit into the mix, and thankfully for West Brom it just balloons up into Palmer's hands.
Hagen alongside Mason Holgate this afternoon. Matchup. And Malumbe scored the winner when the sides met in August. Johnston, couple of moments of quality, couple of chances for him.
That then started from Madja just having an extra touch on the ball and securing it and laying it back off to Malumbe, and that's what he needs to do, just be a little bit more clean in everything he does, and if he's able to do that, then they'll be able to build more attacks than they already have done.
Ronald causing a problem or two. Callum Stiles.
I don't think he can have many complaints then. Just a bit of a swipe then. The ball falls to Ronald there, and he thinks he can just clear the ball for a throw and gets nothing but a lot of Ronald there.
Stiles scored his first goal for Albion since coming to the club in that victory against Preston previously. Defensive work to do.
Very deep here, West Brom. There's been a new kind of craze to have a really, really high line now in football from these wide free kicks, but West Brom here seem to be overly deep.
It's Ji-sung to lift it forward. Free header away, and then on the volley from Tymon, but well wide of the target.
That's one of the downfalls of being really deep. Yes, you can clear a lot of the balls and you stop the spacing behind the back four and the goalkeeper, but any headers that are going to drop to the onto the edge of the box are going to fall to the opposition and allow opportunities like that there from Tymon.
Callum Grant to take on Key, and to keep on going, it's Grant towards that back post. The bounce is favourable, and it's another deflection, and it's another opportunity as Albion warm to the task with a corner.
Yeah, great wing play there from Callum Grant, and what I really like about this is as a tackle comes in from Key, and he could have easily gone down, but dug a great ball up to the back post. There's a challenge there on as the ball falls to Furlong with the volley that gets deflected over the top of the bar. But is there a challenge here on?
There's Wallace. Very congested area. It's Darling again. Gets the header away. A few problems for the home defence. This time Wallace to knock that in, and Darling to clear it behind. It is another opportunity from a corner. Johnston will prepare to take it. Styles, and then Wallace. Johnston, a little bit of pace to take him away from his marker in Ronald. Comes back out, rather wayward in the end, but good little spell that for West Bromwich Albion. No end result.
Yeah, and Luke Williams be a bit disappointed here how easy it is for Michael Johnston to get so much space. You see Ronald there kind of gives up on it as soon as he goes past him. There's a couple of opportunities in the first half where on transitions West Brom are breaking, and there's no real sprint and desire from the Swansea midfielders especially to get back into the back line and defend their box, and something that might just come a cropper of them later on in the game.
Kitty able to turn away from a couple of white shirts. It's with Hegem, and now Holgate. Mid-table position for Swansea City. Albion in a really good place going into the new year. Top 6 for them. In pursuit of back-to-back victories are West Brom. Ronald the target, met by Styles.
Second half's not really kind of kicked into gear just as yet. A bit similar to the first half. The first kind of 15 minutes or so really scrappy. Both teams kind of finding where they are, and seems like second half starting very, very similarly in that aspect.
Major confronted by Darling. Only separated by the single goal when these clubs met at Hawthorns earlier in the season, and another tight affair with a scoreless goal line 10 minutes into the second half. Popnik in pursuit.
He looks like he's just almost playing on his own at the minute, doesn't it? There's not really many players close to him. The ball's coming in. It's a fight ball at times, so he'll be wanting the game to settle down so that he's able to show his quality in the final third.
Johnston able to ease that ball through, and then Diakite finds Grant. A couple of chances for Grant in the first half. Just driven in. And again, Swansea with bodies in the way. Well, I wondered how long we would wait before we saw changes. Brian Bianchini coming on, I suppose an obvious change to give them a fresh look going forward, and there's going to be a double change as well for Albion. We mentioned Fellows and we mentioned Mowat, and they are the players to come on. But it was Wallace that replaced Fellows, and now they reverse roles, and it's a chance off the bench for Fellows and for Mowat. A real surprise that the two respective coaches decide that now is the time to make changes from the bench. Getting close to the hour mark, needing someone maybe to take control of this, provide us with a moment of genuine quality and a bit of experience to the Albion ranks, those two players and their arrival. George Grant dealt with by Christie.
Yeah, Mowat especially brings that extra quality, doesn't he, from midfield. He'll sit there, similar to how Grimes does, and he'll dictate play, but he's got a wand of a left foot. He can strike the ball from distance, he can open up defences from 40, 50 yard diagonal balls and balls over the top of the defence. So he'll be wanted, Chris Brunt will be wanting him to kind of produce a little bit of magic for him now. And you've got Tom Fellows, who's had a great start to the season, the most assists in the EFL, and if you can get him with the opportunities that Jed Wallace has had, then hopefully West Brom, for their point of view, will be able to create something more. I think that's the difference today between the two teams, is the benches, and the strength of the West Brom bench, I think, is hugely stronger than the Swansea ones. And you know, Swansea are bringing on Bianchini then, who's not got a goal in 9.
20 forward now. Again, it is Darling in the way, and we have seen that time and time again, this time to frustrate Darnell Furlong, and just illustrating his value to the club. A contract player in terms of out of contract, end of his deal this summer, and that just shows you, we saw it in the first half, what Darling could do. Blocks the route to goal for Furlong and keeps it goalless.
Yeah, everyone talks about the way he plays with the ball, how he can drive out of defence, how he can hit long sweeping diagonals, but actually his bread and butter is his defending, and he's done that so well today.
Ronald, lovely ball slipped through, and the keeper was quickly off his line. There's going to be a yellow card. Franco back on his feet, and we go past the hour mark. Just the moment there. Franco on the receiving end. And the result is a yellow card. Keeper was quickly scampering off his goal line anyway.
Yeah, Palmer did really well there to read the danger, and Hegham then full-blown tackle on the halfway line. He was thinking either the ball or the man gets past me, but not both. Just had to kind of take one for the team there. But a good break from Swansea, actually, and when they do attack with pace, they can hurt this West Brom back line. They need to do a little bit more of that.
Molumby carded. It's lifted long by Grant. What impact can Tom Fellows have in this second half? 10 assists going into this game. He has been someone who's set up opportunities for Albion. And having had one yellow card, a little more of the same, a shake of the head from Grimes.
I'm not sure he really needed to kind of commit. I don't think it's the worst foul I've ever seen to warrant a yellow card for Darling then. Madge just gets in front of him, lays it off, and he just came through the back of him a little bit too strongly, but it wasn't like a crunch and tackle for me that deserved a yellow card.
Certainly felt his teammate Darling didn't deserve that with a shake of the head, but it goes into the referee's book. Darling booked on what has been an excellent display by the centre-back. Well, we are still goalless. We've had changes from both benches, and it's a very difficult game to predict. We saw Albion finishing the first half very strongly. They would have been delighted with the way they have gone in at the break, but at the moment it's about who can provide the breakthrough moment, who can end the stalemate. Swansea and Albion. Look at the match stats. 9 shots, it's 14 for West Brom, 3 of those on target, but of defending to do for Christie, and then Franco can't get it away. Mowat. Grant providing the threat, and comfortable enough for Vigouroux.
Yeah, Swansea want to get 3 points today. They're going to have some shots on target. Then you've got to beat Alex Palmer in goal, who's already on 11 clean sheets this season and been perilous for West Brom. So they need to do a bit more going forward. They've made that change with Bianchini coming on, and he's not quite got into the game just yet. But they'll be looking to get him an opportunity. He's not scored in 9 games, so his confidence isn't going to be sky high right now. But for Swansea, if there's ever a moment for him to step up and really kickstart his season, then it's today.
Chris Brunt's part of that caretaker management team with plenty to ponder, a fixture that they would have targeted for victory. Chance to reinforce their playoff challenge, promotion challenge, and complete the league double over Swansea City.
Swansea as well got good opportunity to, with the early kick-off, to go 3 points behind the playoff positions, and the last 3 or 4 years they finished mid-table, lower mid-table, and for the size of the club and the recent Premier League success they have had, they'll be disappointed for where they are at the minute. But I feel like this has been the best opportunity in a number of years where they can have a promotion, playoff push certainly, but they need to win their home games. They've done that the last 2 games. They've got 2 good results, and for them they need to start picking up big wins against teams in and around the playoffs as well.
Yep, 14th place finish last season. Fellows, one of those decent balls in. Grant with a knockdown.
See Mowat's eyes lighting up then on the edge of the box, and the ball falls to him. Didn't quite sit too nicely for him to get an opportunity, but that's where he could be key today, is picking up those loose balls on the edge of the box from crosses that have been headed out, and with his quality it wouldn't surprise if he puts one in the top corner from 25 yards.
Now there are options, there are plenty forward. It's Malumbi with a layoff, and a player off the substitutes bench in Fellows to make all the difference. We wondered when Tom Fellows would come on and what sort of impression he would make. Well, there is an emphatic answer, just knocked into his path, and minutes after coming on, he delivers the breakthrough moment, and West Brom lead at Swansea City, courtesy of Tom Fellows.
Yeah, I think it's deserved here. Malumbi does really well. There's a couple of movements from Grant ahead of him. He just waited, he was patient, and there's a great finish. He lays it off to Fellows, and Vigor would be a little bit disappointed that the ball's gone in at his near post. He probably wasn't expecting it, and he wasn't set for it, probably looking to think that the ball's going to go across him, but Fellows sees a gap at the near post. It's a really crisp finish, and the first bit of real quality we've seen there from West Brom, and I think they deserve their 1-0 lead.
Well, he lost his place in the starting lineup. There was a suggestion that he looked a little bit jaded in the first half against Preston. Well, he has certainly justified his inclusion. Mikey Johnston making way. It's another change. Albion bringing on Swift from the bench. John Swift, the latest substitute. I'll mention the assist that Fellows has made this season. There's a goal. Salatwell took the opportunity. We talked about one player providing maybe a moment of genuine quality, one player that could make a difference, and now, with still a long way to go, rather than being a stalemate situation wondering who's going to change this, we have a Swansea side forced to chase the game, and an Albion side with their tails up made fancy more.
Yeah, and it'll probably suit West Brom actually the last 20-25 minutes or so, that Swansea have to come out a bit more again, so West Brom will be happy just to sit in, soak up a bit of pressure and try and hit Swansea on the counter-attack that they've done numerous times. And just going back to the goal, Jason Malumbi, he's 2 or 3 times in this game he's able to drive from midfield and pick up space, and no one's kind of stopped him in his path. And at some point someone's got to come to him and make a challenge on him, and it was easy for him in the end just to lay the ball into Fellows' his path, and in the end it was quite a simple finish.
A word with Franco, looking for a third home game in a row, and Williams in discussion as he look for a route back, and maybe more to come from his substitutes. He's changed it up top with the departure, of course, of Zan Popotnik.
You look down on their bench, and Miles Pritt-Harris can come on. He's got some good attacking threat. Azine Abdullahi, but there's not too much, is there? There's not that much, good championship quality there. Some young lads as well, and you think we spoke not long ago about the difference in the two teams being the substitutes, and Fellows there has come on and shown that.
Yeah, there's a real depth, isn't there, to the Albion bench. A look at Devante Cole, who's been around a bit. He's another option, maybe hoping and expecting a second half introduction at some period of this second half. Styles just doing enough against Cullen. I haven't seen from Liam Cullen the impact that we have in previous matches. He was outstanding against Queen's Park Rangers in the 3-goal victory. But they've got 20 minutes plus whatever time he's added on to find a route back into this game. As you mentioned, Joe, those finishes in previous seasons, 14th last season, the chance with the early kick-off to just push up a little bit closer to the teams above them. Started the day in 12th place, but now must come from a single goal deficit and try and find something to trouble that Albion back four.
Yeah, just been too inconsistent throughout the season is why they are where they are. West Brom, now what Chris Brunt will hope to do is give them not the worries that he had against Preston. Even though it was 3-0, he let Preston get back into the game and cause them a couple of problems. They managed to get a goal, and he'll want West Brom to kick on again and try and get the next goal. I think one more goal here for West Brom, and I think that could kill the game off.
Forward by Key. Key brought back into the side. Ronald. Carried forward by Harry Darling and Ji Sung there.
They're up against a West Brom team here who, like I said before, are really happy out of possession. Everyone works hard, everyone knows their roles. Carlos Corberán had them so well drilled, you know, especially for the circumstances like this where they are a goal up and they don't want to concede.
Franco's ball through now. Is this the chance they were looking for? It isn't. Home disquiet, thinking something might go their way. Never going to happen. Referee waves play on Ji Sung. The ball lifted into that penalty area. There's plenty back for Albion. Yeah, they are set up well, aren't they? You can see how difficult it has proved for the Swans to break them down this afternoon.
And as a team who sits in, you've got to want to be able to sit in as a player. I didn't mind it. I love defending. I was happy to do it. I had teammates around me that were happy, and it seems like West Brom have that. They have players who are wingers or forward attacking players who are happy to do a job for the team, and if you can get that, you know, culture within your team and your club, then you'll be successful. And there's no reason now why that West Brom can't keep another clean sheet and cement their place in the playoffs.
It's Key with a cross. Again, threat dealt with. Towards the last quarter, and that prospect of back-to-back wins, we mentioned it earlier. What a wonderful job to take over at the Hawthorns for whoever finally gets this managerial appointment. You've got a team coming off the back, if the scoreline stays the same, of 2 wins in a row. The start of the day in the playoff positions, they'll fancy themselves to be able to maintain this promotion mix, playoff mix, whatever it is. They're looking as a team around that top 6 that can put together a genuine promotion challenge.
Yeah, of course. And said, you look at the squad they've got, they're able to change 2 or 3 players and it doesn't weaken them at all. Able to bring on players to change the game as well late on. So a really good opportunity for someone to go in. And what really surprises me, that this could be the first time they've got back-to-back wins since the middle of September. And you know, for a team who are in the playoffs, or in 5th place, or 6th place at the start of the day, to only have had that once in the last 3 months is surprising. There's a lot of draws in there, and they're very difficult to beat. But back-to-back wins here could really kick-start them. And you know, you don't want to put them out of the race for the automatics just yet, because a good run of form and you know, you win 6 or 7 out of 10, and you're right in the mix for that.
Well, you mentioned what we could see off the Swansea bench. Miles Pitt-Harris, someone you talked about, he is on, and Kyle Norton gets an opportunity as well in the final 15 minutes. That's a mistake, and that has let in Grant, and it won't count anyway. Nice finish, Callan Grant. Flag up before, and his moment in the spotlight is brought to a very abrupt halt. But that, again, just a sign of the danger from Grant. Had a couple of chances in the first half to provide a telling finish, forcing a couple of saves from Vigoro, involved again there.
It was almost a carbon copy of the 4th goal that they conceded against Portsmouth there, that, you know, just get caught in possession on the back line, and Portsmouth were able to nick the ball off them, square it and get a goal. And very similarly there, if it wasn't for Carlan Grant just standing or starting in an offside position there, he goes through and it's a great finish, but disallowed for the correct offside decision.
Forward from Grimes.
Just off, I think.
Yep. Certainly took the opportunity well. Swansea find a way back. In the end, it was straight at Palmer and a relatively straightforward save, but maybe a sign in the last few minutes that the Swans are just offering a little bit more in the final third, although Palmer was comfortable enough with the save in the end.
Yeah, some good play, some good forward runs, some good forward momentum there for Swansea, and Josh Tymon there was a great technique, great strike. Probably hit it too well that it's got straight at Palmer. If it slices across it or hits into the ground there, and it could cause him a few more problems.
Franco, Match had nearly gone on the end of that to intercept it. Grimes. Arnold finds the angle. Mixed bag of results since the change in management. The fourth game for the caretaker team at the Hawthorns.
They'd be really, really pleased with how the first 78 minutes has gone. They've soaked up some, not necessarily too much pressure around the 18-yard box, but in the middle of the pitch. And you know, their game plan would always be, and it will be for most teams who play against Swansea, is, you know, sit in, soak up the pressure and try and hit them on a counter-attack, and they've done that really, really well today.
Grimes again. It is a ball that will release Colin Grant. We saw what he was capable of a moment ago on the angle. Key will deal with that. Still not away. And then in the end, wide from Fellows.
Oh, John Swift carried on his run there. He's got a tap in. Colin Grant, first of all, Josh Madge did really well with his hold-up play. It's a great run and pass to Colin Grant here. And John Swift just stops in his run. If he carries on his run here in the middle of the box, I think he's got a tap in.
Josh Madge leaving the field, being replaced by 11, Craig Hannigan. And number 18, Colin Grant, in the field. Being replaced by 44, Devante.
Well, here we go. Yet more changes, this time from the Albion bench. And that will prove to be Grant's final action of the day. Devante Cole there coming on. Seen him recently involved from the substitutes bench.
And again, the quality they're able to bring on here at West Brom. Diangana, who's played a lot at this level, and Devante Cole, who's had a really good couple of seasons at Barnsley. He's failed to score a goal yet for West Brom in the league, and will want to stop that duck quite quickly. But you know, if there's an opportunity comes his way, you wouldn't put it past him scoring it straight away, because he's a top player.
Gunner. So just a completely different look. Gunner, Cole, Swift. Fellows, of course, who made his presence felt, the influence of Alex Mowat. Well, you lose a manager of Carlos Corberan's experience, and then you enjoy if they hang on to this one, a reasonably decent period which has seen them win successive games. It'll be a couple of wins, a draw and defeat, which is not bad at all for a caretaker team that are presumably just holding water until the board at the Hawthorns, the hierarchy, make their decision on who to change. And as we said, it just reinforces and strengthens their belief that they are there for the season, that they can be very much in the mix.
Yeah, at what point does Chris Brunt maybe become an option
Absolutely.
for them? You know, and whether or not he wants it is up to him, and I don't think he's publicly come out and said that he wants a job, but I think the good thing about the caretaker managers there is, you know, they're West Brom guys, they're people who know the club, who, you know, especially Boaz Myhill and Chris Brunt, who've played for the club, and they'll know what it takes to wear the shirt and what the fans want. You know, Chris Brunt alluded to that after the game, that as a player he knew what it meant to wear the shirt. So, you know, if he carries on this form and he carry on doing well and picking up wins, then should his name be in the hat for it.
And this was the moment. Malumbi setting up, Fellows, and keeper beaten.
Yeah, normally a goalkeeper would be really disappointed when they're beaten at the near post like that. He probably sets himself up to start with just a foot or two towards the centre of the goal, a little bit too much there, and allows the gap into the near post, and Fellows, you know, took up the opportunity, and it was still a really good finish, and had to go with pace and power into that bottom corner. But I think the goalkeeper will be disappointed that he got beaten from there.
Cullen, Grimes, Swansea find something late on.
West Brom, the last few minutes, they started to get their foot on the ball a little bit more as well, haven't they? And not allowed Swansea to dictate everything and have it their own way and start to build pressure and momentum into the game. The more that they can keep hold of the ball, West Brom, and play the ball into Swansea's half, into their final third, the more time that ticks away, and the more confident they'll be of hanging on to this 1-0 lead. Great when a player makes a challenge and points at the ball that was nowhere near the direction of where he went to kick someone, and Franco there, I think, just caught Furlong's leg, and rightly so, a free kick was given.
Holgate among those forward. It's Hegham trying to get on the end of it, and it's key across there for Swansea.
It's good defending in the end there, because Hegham's really good at attacking set plays and gets his head in a lot of things, and Key had to stick with him then. And
Dean Garner's ball. No, it's cross, and he's there again to mop up, but he's there again to mop up, but Darling still, the threat is clear on evidence.
it's not been too clean for West Brom the last few minutes, but they'll be really delighted where the ball is and where the game's been played out. the more they can keep that in the Swansea's defensive third here, frustrate them, don't let them out, keep the press on high, don't let them kind of have any easy passes to get to the halfway line. And I think they're seeing this game out at the minute really, really well.
As for the home side, they, of course, with the wins over Luton and QPR, things looking good, and then you go to Portsmouth and concede 4. And unless they can turn something around the next 5 minutes or so, it's going to be back-to-back defeats for Luke Williams, who decides it's time for a double change.
And the final change for Swansea City this afternoon.
Joe Allen, well, there is a player. Talk about someone who brings vast experience to a football club. Allen would be the best of examples of that. He's had to wait for his chance, and he only has a few minutes to make a difference. Allen on, part of a double change made by Luke Williams.
Yeah, Joe's got all the quality in the world. He's been there and done it in the Premier League, in the Champions League, on the international stage, and he's not played as many minutes as he probably would like to this season, especially recently. So, with 3 minutes of normal time and some injury time here, is he able to kind of come up with something he'll be hoping for, for his hometown club, a Swansea boy. He'll be hoping to maybe create something for his team to get a point out of this game.
Styles his header away. Overall, though, Joe Jacobson, as we head towards the conclusion, Albion, good value for this?
I think so, yeah. I think, Swansea have done what they do and had a lot of possession without really creating too many opportunities. I think it's been quite comfortable defensively for West Brom. Palmer's only really had to make one simple save, and on the counter-attack, West Brom have had numerous opportunities. They've had some good chances. Vigouroux's pulled off a couple of good saves, and I think the quality in the final third has all been West Brom today, and I think they do thoroughly deserve their 1-0 lead so far.
Styles able to get a touch on that at least, and then Swift able to maintain possession. Chris Brunt will be delighted. Those stats with 16 shots for Albion, 4 on target, up against Swansea's 10 shots and 1 on target. And Albion needed the one from Fellows to find a way past Lawrence Vigouroux. But it brings to an end a hectic schedule. Games 4 in 10 days for Swansea, much the same for West Bromwich Albion, and such a significant part of the season when you look at the points that can be accumulated in the space of a couple of weeks. We are into 4 minutes of time added on.
Yeah, the Christmas period can propel you away from the drop zone. It can put you into playoff position, but in the same way, it can also really hamper your season and where you want to get to. So it's always a really, really difficult time to manage for managers, what teams to pick, whether you can play the same team 4 games in a row is really difficult, especially with the demands now on the players. So, West Brom be reasonably happy with 7 points on the 4 games, especially after the change in management and the uncertainty of everything that's going on there. So for West Brom, I think it's been a decent period. For Swansea, it had promise with the 2 home victories, but I think if they come away with 6 points, it probably sums up where they are at the minute in the season. A team that struggles to find that true consistency and is why they're in mid-table.
Carl Norton. Is there to be a route back? Another ball whipped in. Another ball that is dealt with by the Albion defence, and of course there is the small matter of the transfer window, which is open, and the hope from supporters that both of these clubs can add genuine quality to their squad.
I think from Swansea's perspective, watching today, they could do with an attacking threat, someone who can just bring that quality to them.
Ronald back across the face of goal, and they do find an equaliser, back on level terms with a stoppage time goal, and suddenly it all changes in favour of Swansea City. Equaliser, and Joe Allen is the player who can celebrate. He's only been on the pitch a moment or two. All that vast experience, and a game that looked to be going away from them. Back level at 1-1, Joe Jacobson.
Yeah, and look, Joe Allen probably stands at 5'6", 5'7". You don't expect him to be scoring headers in the middle of the 6-yard box, but you know, and West Brom's been comfortable for them. You know, we were talking then about almost the game being over, and you know, an opportunity came into the box from Grimes, and Ronald there just hooks it back in, and Joe Allen's a great little flick header. He finds himself free there, and like I said, he's a small player, no one's picking him up, and he's able to just drift into the area and, you know, get a vital point for his team.
Ulumbe. And will continue his run into the area.
They'll be so disappointed, West Brom. Like I said, they've been so calm. It's been easy for them to sit in and soak up any pressure. There hasn't actually been too much pressure. There's not been a bombardment on their penalty area, and they'll be so disappointed to concede a goal in that manner. And the fact that they've been in control of this game, you know, feel like a defeat for them.
Grimes to have done enough to rescue a point.
Again, West Brom still haven't got back-to-back victories from the middle of September.
Well, what a moment for Allen, a smile on the face of Luke Williams. Such a wonderful servant for this Swansea City club down the years, and bides his time, gets a chance and takes it. And meanwhile, just one of those incidents, a little bit of frustration boiling over. Albion will think we've thrown this away probably. Yeah,
and look, this is, you know, Swansea will be happy with the draw now, and you know, they're making the clock tick away, and out of absolutely nothing, someone just pushes one player, and then everyone thinks that they turn into Mike Tyson and want to get involved. And you know, nothing ever happens with these things in football. Everyone just kind of pretends that they are someone they're not.
Holgate gets a card, Peter Harris gets a card, and referee has to step in, and there was the moment of silliness, little push there from Furlong. And as always, a few more get involved. Couple of cards. Holgate yellowed. We have played, time added on. West Bromwich Albion felt they had done enough in front from substitute Tom Fellows' effort, but it was the experience of Joe Allen very, very late in the game that was able to find an equaliser, and I'm sure West Brom will feel that it's a match they should have won.
Yeah, look, I think they can be quite pleased with the overall performance. I think they dominated the attacking parts of the game they had the best chances, the best opportunities. They sat in and defended really well. There was no opportunities for Swansea in this whole game until the 92nd minute. But that's why the Championship is so good, because at any one point, someone who's 5'6" can score a header in the last couple of minutes. And Joe Allen, he's, like I said before, he's been starved of minutes recently, and given him 6 or 7 minutes at the end of the game, I don't think anyone thought that he was going to be the difference, but he popped up in the right area, and his experience there and his calmness to flick the ball into the far corner has earned his team a point.